Lately, my videos have focused on sonic explorations using a variety of guitar pedals and a few plug-in effects. But I recently decided to delve into an extraterrestrial arena that brings a whole new level of sonic sophistication: virtual instruments and synthesizers. And I'm specifically talking about ones that utilize Native Instruments hardware and software. I've had a MicroKorg XL keyboard for some time, primarily for its built-in microphone and easy vocoding functionality. This also has built-in synthesizer sounds, and it functions as a MIDI controller, but I began getting some virtual instrument VSTs, such as some inexpensive ones from Beatskillz, including Synthwave Keys and Synthwave Drums. I started realizing that it would really be beneficial to obtain a MIDI controller that would allow me to tweak knobs and parameters within these virtual instruments and within Ableton itself. This is where the Native Instruments Komplete Kontrol M32 keyboard comes in. It's a compact, reasonably priced solution that also came with a variety of software, including Virtual Synths Monarch, Reactor Prism, and Scarby Mark I, as well as the machine software, essentially a virtual drum machine. I was also able to get a half-price discount on the full version of their flagship software, Kontakt, which is an essential tool for obtaining sample-based virtual instruments. While Native Instruments Kontakt kits can provide quite nice and unique sounds, the problem is that they tend to be far too expensive. For example, I find the new Lore's instrument collection to be intriguing, but there's simply no way I'll ever pay $200 for it. This is where third-party developers come in. There are many great virtual instruments that have been developed for Kontakt, and while some work with the free version of Kontakt Player, many of them require the full version. One developer of Kontakt instruments that I found to be particularly awesome is Rigid Audio. They specialize in epic, cinematic, and moody electronic sounds with especially great atmospheric pads. Even at regular price, each of these instrument kits is worth the cost, which is far lower than Native Instruments prices. But you can also find them at discounted rates. Right now, their Everything bundle appears to be under $60, which is an amazing deal, but even without that, I was able to get some of their great kits for just a few bucks each by checking different online plug-in resellers, such as Plug-in Boutique and Audio Plug-in Deals. Let's hear some samples of these different kits. now it's time for the second half of the video, in which I'm going to attempt to create a song using some of the components I've talked about. My goal here was to create a moody, ethereal sci-fi score in the vein of Vangelis or Tangerine Dream. But as I progressed, I noticed I ended up adding some elements of the more retro modern synthwave style. I often like to start with a beat because that will define the tempo for the track. I could record my own drum beat in Native Instruments machine, but I don't really have a suitable interface for doing that very well. So instead I'll use EZDrummer to lay down a basic drum beat, then record some layers over that using some of the fantastic instruments by Rigid Audio. Since both Native Instruments and Rigid Audio are based in Germany, it seemed only fitting to pick one of these Beats of Berlin grooves, so I chose a down-tempo one and dragged it over into the session view for recording. But I wanted this to have more of a retro synthwave sort of sound, and I don't have any chilled electronic drum kits in EZDrummer. So instead I switched the MIDI tracks instrument to Synthwave Drums and chose a fitting set, Space Dust. Then I began perusing my Rigid Audio instruments to find some smooth, ethereal pads that I liked, including, coincidentally, one that happened to be called First Contact from the Metawave instrument. But I couldn't quite get the timing right until I had a little melody to lay over the pad. So I jumped into Native Instruments Kinetic Treats and selected an 80s Tyne, which is essentially an old, chimey, wind-up mechanical music box sound. Playing a little progression on this actually gave me the tempo I wanted to work from, so I used Ableton's tap tempo and time with that to come up with 90 beats per minute, which automatically adjusted the EZDrummer drum beat. And I rounded out the whole thing by adding yet another layer of airy organic pads using the aerosol setting from Rigid Audio's Viego instrument, allowing me to gradually build from a retro Blade Runner-esque sound into a more modern synthwave, somewhat reminiscent of the mysterious, forlorn sounds that Survive concocted for the Stranger Things soundtrack. I hope the journey into extraterrestrial sounds has been an enlightening one, and if you're anything like me, hopefully the world of virtual instruments is no longer such an alien concept. Remember to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for our next episode, where we'll be traveling straight into the Cloud Nebula, full of rather exotic sounds.